Alito.
This is a question I will ask you and Mr. Elias, and it has to do with who is helped and who is hurt by the provision that is before us. In our much maligned, I think unfairly maligned decision in Citizens United, the effect of the provision at issue was to privilege certain corporations, namely the corporations that control all of the national media, and disadvantage other corporations like Citizens United, and the effect of our decision was to level that playing field. Here, it is not apparent to me who is benefited by this provision and who is disadvantaged by the provision. And I would appreciate your enlightening me on that subject.
Sure. I think one thing that we have seen as a result of this provision, and this is actually a point that is embraced by many of those who are actually in favor of very robust campaign finance reform, it's the idea that the relative power of the super PACs has increased dramatically, and the relative power of the political parties has been diminished as a result. I think you'll see in the materials graphs that show how the changes in spending have gone over time, and what you've seen is an explosion in the size of super PACs, whereas the spending of the political parties has been relatively minimal. And we think that that actually has many dangers to our democracies. Political parties serve a moderating influence by forcing essentially compromises within a party in order to put forward a platform and to put forward candidates, whereas PACs and super PACs can often be focused on narrower issues. So to me, that's one of the big sets of winners and losers that have resulted. We think by invalidating the coordinated party expenditure limits, you start to restore the political powers to the political parties to the relative political power that they've ultimately had, which I think is ultimately to the benefit of democracy itself.
Well, you represent a political party, and the intervener respondents represent a political party, and I know you're both here simply making arguments that you think will advance the public good, but I wonder whether there is a reason why you have provided an argument in support of in defense of the role of political parties, but both you and the intervener respondents represent political parties, so that doesn't quite answer my question.
Sure. Historically, we've been aligned on this issue. The two political parties have been aligned on this issue. Historically, both of the parties have resisted these types of incursions into their own ability to engage in free speech. I'm going to venture into the realm of speculation here, Your Honor, to answer your question, because I don't think the record actually really does answer your question. But I think one answer might lie in the fact of where the different parties' relative fundraising strengths have been over the years. Over the years, I think that there's some sense that the Republican Party apparatus is raising more money relative to the candidates, whereas within the Democratic apparatus, the candidates are raising more money relative to the party apparatus. If that is true, you could understand why one party might favor more robust party structures and the other party less so. But I am absolutely not relying on that. I'm relying on the same free speech principles that in the past we and my friends on the Democratic side have been locked in arms on in defending.
All right, thank you.